As I said just a few minutes ago, just to get the most out of today, what we're going to do is we're going to give the presentation first and give time then at the end for questions. Just with so many different attendees, we want to make sure there's no background noise or interference. So we're going to keep everyone on mute. So what I'd ask you is if you have any questions at any stage of the presentation, just to type it into the chat section, and I'm going to gather them all up for Jane at the very end. We are also recording today's event, just to let you know, and it's just for anyone who wasn't able to attend this morning. And again, we'll send on details of that afterwards so you can watch it again or share it with anyone else you think might be interested. And what I'll do now is I'll hand you over to Jane. Jane is the Regional SEC Coordinator for the South East, and Jane is going to explain all about the SEC programme, what's involved, what kind of supports are available, and what the benefits are of the programme for your community. So Jane, I'll hand everything over to you.
Good morning, everybody. So it's a bit different now than presenting here to a screen rather than presenting in a large hall to people. And it's great to see how many people that have signed up since last night. There was over 50 people, I think, registered for the event today. So it's great to see such an interest from people across the South East and the whole community programme. So as Fiona said, I'm just going to go through the SEC programme today. I'll just outline kind of what steps communities need to take to get onto the programme and to engage with your local mentors. So again, if you have any questions along the way, just don't hesitate to put them up on the chat and we'll address them at the end then of the presentation. So I've just a series of slides today, so I'll just go through them. Again, I'll just explain what I'm talking about as I'm going through it, and if anyone has any questions, please do let us know. So I just wanted to start just, where's the whole sustainable energy community coming from? And this is usually the first slide that I put up. Under Ireland's Climate Action Plan last year in 2019, the government set a target for sustainable energy communities for 2030. So they want to see 150 or 1,500 sustainable energy communities in Ireland by 2030. So currently, or last year, 2019, there was over 256 members. And they want to see that grow to 50 members by 2020, I think it is, and then 150 members or 1,500 members by 2030. So my point here is the government is putting time and money into developing this programme. Just in terms then of who's organising or who's the backing behind it. So the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, which I'm sure a lot of you are well familiar with, are the national body for energy in Ireland. So they work with businesses, community groups, local authorities, and a wide range of actors, residential people as well, across Ireland. And their aim is to reduce energy use, use clean energy, so look at renewable energy technologies, solar PV, wind energy for communities, businesses and local authorities, and then look at innovative approaches, so smart energy technologies. So they work with a load and wide range of actors across Ireland, and they're the people that are rolling out this programme, the Sustainable Energy Communities programme. So just to give you then a bit of background just about the Sustainable Energy Communities programme. So what is a Sustainable Energy Community? So we've worked with a wide range of groups across the South East over the past 3 years. So we've worked with community centres, community groups, GEA, schools, community centres, like a very wide range. So the goal of these communities is to make their community more sustainable. So they're looking at, how can they improve the energy efficiency of their buildings? How can they reduce their dependence on fossil fuels? How can they look at maybe looking at renewable energy technologies? So looking at solar PV, looking at wind energy for the community, and then adopting kind of smart energy technology. So it's a very wide and broad kind of range of groups that we're working with, and it's a very wide and broad, but it's all to do with energy and how to improve the energy for your community and how to make your community more sustainable and more efficient going forward over the next couple of years and beyond that. So what SEI are doing, I suppose, with this programme, so they are providing funding, and I'll go through that in a little bit more detail later. And they provide technical assistance. So we've got regional coordinators and we've got county mentors, And I'll go through that in a bit more detail later. But what they're providing is they're providing the technical and the funding support. But then for your community, what they want from community is like they want local actors on the ground. So they want people within the community working to bring their community to a more sustainable fashion. So you're looking at people putting in their time and their local knowledge. So anyone that might be within your community that can help kind of, from a technical point of view in terms of energy upgrades and anything like that. So it's about bringing the whole community together and then working with SCI through their technical panel and the funding that they have available. Just the structure then, I suppose, sustainable energy structure across Ireland. So it is a national programme, it's not just centred in the southeast. So the way that SEAI have divided the programme, they've divided it into 4 regions. So the Border West, the Midlands, or the Mid and Southwest, and then Dublin is the 3 categories outside of our region, obviously. And then the region that we're working in is the Midlands Southeast. So we're partnered with ORS. So they're a company based in Westmeath, actually, sorry, yeah. So they're operating the Midlands section, and then we're operating the Southeast section. So our counties that we're operating through is Kilkenny, Carlow, Waterford and Wexford. So just then in terms of the Southeast and how our structure is set up, so what SEI have done, they've assigned a regional coordinator, who's myself, over the region, and then they've also assigned county mentors. So these are mentors that are out on the ground to work with communities and help them in becoming, doing their application or doing, any information that they need to progress their sustainable energy community in their region or their county, or their town or village. So in Wexford, Fiona O'Loughlin is the Wexford mentor. So Fiona's actually chairing this meeting. In Waterford, it's Yvonne Byrne, so she's the mentor in Waterford area. In Kilkenny, it's Trace Kern, so she's the mentor in Kilkenny. And then in Carlow, it's Marina da Costa, so she's working with any of the Carlow SECs. Just in terms of where we are in the Southeast and how many members we have at the moment. So nationally, there's over 370 members nationally. So you can see the map there where a lot of them are concentrated. There's a good few around the Southeast. And then in Carlow, we've got 12 network members, Wexford 13, Kilkenny 13 and 12 network members currently at the moment. And then of those network members, they're at different stages of the path that SEI have set out. So I'll just go through that in a minute. Any of the information just on the programme itself, there's a link there at the bottom of that slide, and that will bring you into that map, and it'll give you all the information and details about the different sustainable energy communities that are operating across Ireland at the moment. And there's a wealth of information on that website as well, just around what projects have been done and what people have engaged and what they've done. So you can link into that. So just I suppose the curve or the process of the programme that SEI have set up, they call it the learning curve. So not every community is at the same stage as any other community. So there's some communities that are at the very early stage that might be only setting up kind of an idea around how can we make our village or town more sustainable. Then there's others that are a lot more organised, and they might be, have done maybe energy audits in some of their buildings. And then there's other communities that, they're doing projects as well. So it's just identifying what stage that your community is at and where you fit in the overall programme. So the programme that they set out is the learn stage, the plan stage and the do stage. So I'll just go through this in a little bit more detail over the next few slides. So in the learn stage, this is where you engage with your county mentor. There's up to 4 days support once you sign up to the network through your county mentor. The plan stage, then there's funding available for energy master plans, and then the do stage, there's capital spend for communities to develop projects. Just in terms of the learn stage, so I suppose the benefit of the learn stage is that you sign up to the network. There's a link on SEI's website where you can sign up to the network. And what this allows you then, over the period of time that you're in this phase, SEI send out regular updates and emails just on events that they're running, on local information that they have as well. So they run, generally before they would have ran national events once a year or twice a year, that, you know, all the SECs come and they can network and meet with other SECs, and it's a great way of sharing information and getting knowledge about what other people are doing across the country, really, I suppose. And then also, once you sign up to the network, you're assigned a mentor. So for example, if you sign up in the Kilkenny region, Trace is your mentor then, and she'll give you a ring and she'll talk to you then through what you want to get and what's your goal of joining up to the network, whether it's just, you know, for information sharing between other SECs, or whether that you're looking at doing something wider, like doing an energy master plan, or whether you're going on to do kind of, you know, capital works or big projects in your region. So that's just the learn stage, that's just the early stage. There's over 370 members in that stage at the moment, and we have a good few, I think we've over 30 or 40 members in the South East at the moment. So we're actively engaging with those SECs regularly. Then the plan stage, I suppose this is where you move on to, so you've talked to your county mentor about what you want to get out of the programme and what you want to achieve. And then if your county mentor thinks, okay, you know, that you're interested in maybe doing an energy master plan, or maybe progressing your community onto the next stage or the further stage. So the next stage that we call is the plan stage. And through this stage then is where you apply for your energy master plan application for funding to do an energy master plan. So your county mentor is there to help you in this process and advise you on the steps and everything involved in that. I might actually come back to this slide in a minute because it kind of sets out the overall process. But in terms of your application form, your county mentor again will talk to you about this, but there's an application form that has to go up to SCI to apply for funding to do the energy master plan. So it's a very, it's not that it's a hard document to complete, but there is a lot of information in it. Just in terms of what SCI want to see is that you're thinking about what are the goals of your SEC and what do you want to achieve in your SEC. So there is some kind of questions about, you know, what do you see as the outputs of your SEC, and what do you want to achieve, and there's other questions about like what way is your SEC structured, like, so who are your team members and who you're working with, and has a committee been formed. So they want to see that, you know, that you've actively engaged, say, with your community, and that you might have set up a committee with different representatives from your community. Like we've worked with SECs, like, and you know, there might be a representative from their school, there might be a representative from their GA club, there might be a representative from, say, a housing association. So it's a very large, you know, it's a cross kind of community that you're looking at, that it's not just focused on one area, and it's not just focused on, say, one project that you're looking at. You know, it's a community that you're looking at, that you're not just looking at you know, a very small focus group. So your county mentor will go through this with you and help you, give you guidance and assistance in filling this application form out. Just with that, I suppose what you have to do as well with your application form, whether you do this before or after, but again, you can talk to your county mentor on this. You have to do a community charter. So your community charter is like an energy charter. So it's the goal of your SEC. So what do you want to achieve? So like, obviously it can, you know, it's your vision and your goal. So like, we try and encourage the SECs to come up with their vision and their goal themselves. Like, obviously the mentor can kind of advise you on, you know, whether it's applicable or not, but you know, it really has to come from the community themselves. So some of the communities might say that they might want to become 100% you know, renewable energy technologies by 2030. That might be the goal. Or they might want to, you know, retrofit all their houses. Like, I know it's a very broad or a very high target, like, but you know, again, it's just working with the community and just trying to figure out what your goal or what your vision for your community is. So that's just the energy charter. That needs to be filled out as well by the community, and then your committee needs to sign that. So it needs to be signed by a committee, and that needs to be submitted then with your application form to SCI as well. And then your competency assessment form, So this is just a series of questions that SEI have set out. So again, the idea around this is just that the community of themselves are kind of thinking about, so have we done any energy projects over the last couple of years? Have we, you know, an energy plan in place? Have we finance in place? Just, you know, they're just simple questions, and they're just asking a yes, no answer on the questions really. So you're just giving a yes, no answer. Again, it's just to get the community and the group kind of thinking about, have we done stuff or have we not done stuff, and you know, what kind of position are we in, and then it gives you a diagram at the end, and it kind of assesses where you are in terms of each of the different sustainable transport, energy efficiency, renewables. So it'll give you a kind of a guide path on where you are. And again, the benefit of doing this, I suppose, in maybe 3 years' time, when you've done your energy master plan, you've done a bit of work, 3 years sustainable energy communities, you can revisit it then, and you know, see if you know, if that area has gotten smaller over that period of time. So there are the three things that need to be submitted with your energy master plan: your community charter, your energy assessment form, and your energy master plan application form. So again, the purpose of the county mentors, and this I want to stress, is to help you as a community fill out these. So you're not being left to yourself to fill out these, but they're there to assist you, obviously not to fill it out for you yourself, but to assist you in doing that work and getting your application into SEI. Just in terms of funding then, I suppose, this is kind of the main question, or people that will ask, like, what level of funding is available for the different types of energy master plans. So again, I might have mentioned it earlier, there's different levels, like there's, you know, if there's a small village or a small community that's looking at an energy master plan, then you might have a bigger town that might be looking at one. So there's different levels of funding depending on the size and the scale of your village or your town or your community. So the smallest scale is level 1. So there's €10,000 available for funding for an energy master plan for this level. Level 2 is 15,000. Then level 3 is 20,000. So that's slightly bigger. You know, you might be doing a county or a regional energy master plan on that, and then national is up to 25,000. So the ones that we're really focusing on, more the SECs that we've worked with, really are level 1 or level 2. They're either 15 or 10,000 euros that they're looking at. And how that's worked out, you can see just on the energy spend. Again, the county mentors can go through this with you. What way that's worked out, you base it on the population of the village or the town or the community, and then you work out the energy spend. So you use an average value to work out, say for your house, like what is the average spend for a house and how many households are in that village, and then you work it out, and up to 22 million, of an energy spend can get an energy master plan funding of up to 10,000 euros, and up to 20 million is up to 15,000 euros. So with SEI, the funding is 10,000 euros for a village. The SEC apply for the funding, they appoint a consultant, they pay for the energy master plan, and then they can claim that 10,000 back off SEI. So it's 100% funded to the community. 15,000 or 10,000 or above that. I might just go back to the slides here. I probably should have put that slide down there, but just in terms of the application form, so what I said with the application form, you have to fill out your competency assessment, your energy charter, and your application. So that goes up to SEI. You send that to your county mentor, they're working with you on that, and we actually send it, so the regional coordinator and the county mentor send that up to SEI for approval. So that goes up to SEI, they review your application, your charter and your competency assessment form, and if everything is in order and they're happy with your application form, and there is a declaration, you'll see on the application form, I can circulate that, but there is a declaration of financial resources and stuff that has to be signed with the application form. But as long as everything is above board and they're happy with it, they'll issue a letter of offer then to the community group to say that you've been approved for your energy master plan funding, whether it's the 10,000 or 15,000. So once that comes through, then your sustainable energy community or your community group or your town is in a position then to go and get tenders of consultants to do the energy master plan. So again, you'll look for people to do that energy master plan, and if you're happy, you'll appoint a consultant to do the work. So the consultant goes out then and meets with you, your sustainable energy community, and meets with your committee, and you go through what you want out of the energy master plan. Typically, there's data analysis to be done, there's energy audits to be done, and then there's a report to be written up, and there's community engagement involved and all that. So there's a good bit of work involved in it, but once it's done and your report has been submitted from the consultant, then you pay the consultant. You can agree milestone payments with the consultant. So again, if the energy master plan is €10,000, you can agree milestone payments of 2,500, maybe over 4 batches, or maybe 5,000 and 5,000, whatever you agree. So you can submit milestone payment claims up to SCI for each of those milestone payments. So again, you need to submit the relevant paperwork, which will include a workbook, a grant claim workbook, an invoice from your consultant, and proof of payment from the consultant. So there is a bit of paperwork that needs to be submitted with each grant's milestone payment, and SCI have typically said that they pay within 15 working days, as long as all the paperwork is in the correct order. So your invoices, dates on your invoices, have to match your bank payments, and have to match the receipt from your consultant and your invoice and all that. So just, you just have to make sure that all the paperwork is in order. But if it is, they typically say that it's 15 days that they'll make out on the payment claim. So that's just a bit of the paperwork that needs to go with submitting the grant funding. I suppose the energy master plan, then the outputs, I touched on this briefly just there a few minutes ago. So typically what you'd get out of it is, your desktop study. So you'll get an average energy spend for your community based on, the desktop analysis that's done, and then energy audits. So typically if, the community might look at doing energy audits on a local community centre or the school or church, and then a number of houses as well, to give a representation of kind of the types of houses across the community. So you could get a number of house surveys done as well through the energy master plan. And then you'll get a register of opportunities from the energy audits and the energy surveys that have been done, and then your action plan out of that. So just in terms of some of the actions and opportunities across some of the buildings, like you might be looking at, I don't know, community centres, so you might be looking at fabric upgrades, external, internal wall insulation, windows and doors, attic insulation, so you're improving the thermal comfort of your building, making it more energy efficient. You might look at boiler upgrades. So if you have an very old, inefficient boiler operating, so you could have a boiler there that's 20-15 years old, and it might be operating at maybe 65 to 75% efficient. If you're looking at doing an energy upgrade, SCI actually won't fund oil boilers or gas boilers at the moment, so that wouldn't be eligible for funding. So if you were looking at for funding through the Better Energy Communities, you'd be looking at whether it's a heat pump or maybe a some type of renewable technology to heat the building if you're looking at a boiler upgrade. Lighting upgrades is fairly an easy one, I suppose, for a lot of buildings. A lot of buildings would have older, T8s or T8s, or older CFLs or incandescent bulbs. So again, looking at LED upgrades is a fairly fast and quick way to save energy in buildings. And then, if you have a larger building or a more complex building, you've got the likes of energy management systems, BMS, building energy management systems, more complex systems like that, pump upgrades, etc. And then heating controls, obviously, to improve the heating controls. So a lot of buildings wouldn't have heating controls in them. So again, you're looking at how you can control the heating when it comes on and comes off. So I know a lot of community centres, they might have an old inefficient boiler operating, but they wouldn't have the proper heating controls in place, and someone's going in manually switching on the heating an hour before people come on. So, you can automate that a bit better. And then in terms of renewable energy generation, I suppose solar PV is really the one that people are looking at the moment. It's a very easy fix onto roofs. You're putting it onto generally a south-facing roof or, you know, an east-west orientation. It's you know, it's most roofs that it's easy to install on it. And again, if you have a, you know, a demand there during the day where you have a high demand of electricity during the day, it's a good way to offset your you know, bringing electricity in from the grid. So yeah, my point here is just, you know, your energy master plan should list, you know, a register of opportunities for your community to look at over the next 3 to 5 years for projects. So that's kind of the main outcome from the energy master plan. I suppose the do stage, I won't talk too much about this because I know we have another, Trace is going, or Yvonne is going to talk about energy grants. I think it's the webinar number 3. So she's going to talk about just what grants are available. So I won't dwell on this too much. I suppose obviously the big one is the Better Energy Communities, you know, that's run through SEI. There's funding there like previous years of up to 50% for energy efficient projects for community centres. So it's fairly, you know, good grant, I suppose, to get for community centres to do upgrades. But I won't dwell on that at the moment. I suppose just in terms of, you know, the benefits of doing any upgrades. I know people talk a lot about payback periods, and there's been a lot of talk about, you know, if you do an energy upgrade, like if you do insulation on your walls of, you know, a community centre, it could cost, I don't know, anything between 5,000. These are, you know, it could be a large centre. I'm not giving figures now, but, you know, it could cost 5,000 to do, you know, internal or external insulation. And people talk about the payback period, like in the payback period, you know, could be a long time. And it's the same with your house, you know, a residential house like that, you know, that you're looking at, you know, insulating the walls on your house, you know, or, you know, installing a new boiler. Again, the payback is very long on these projects, and I'm not going to even say what the payback could be on some of the projects. It's, you know, it scares or puts people off. Like, but the other benefits, like the outside benefits of the payback, or the financial, you know, return on it, I suppose. You know, there's the health benefit, like, you know, improving air quality in your house or your building. So, you know, when you make your house warmer or more airtight, you know, it reduces mold build-up, and it reduces, you know, bad air quality in your house. So that's one benefit. Just in terms of, yeah, the health, I know we were at a deep retrofit house down in Wexford. I always use this example a couple of years ago. Down there, and there was an old man in the house, and he used to get chest infections every single year because of, you know, the air quality in the house and the mold, and the house was damp and wet and all that. And then they did a deep retrofit on the house, and he hasn't been sick since. It's just that the air quality has been, you know, good, and so good in the house. And then I suppose the environmental stuff, the big thing I suppose for communities is, you know, looking at how can we move away from fossil fuels and reduce our dependence. So like at the moment, I don't know what the figures is, but like I think it's nearly 80 or 70% of all energy coming into the country is fossil fuels, and we're importing all this energy into the country at the moment. So, you know, how can we keep the money local, and how can we generate jobs local, and how can we, you know, use local resources, like whether it's in terms of biomass or solar or whatever. So again, it's just the environmental benefits of reducing fossil fuels, and then the economic benefit as well of that as well to the local economy. So anyway, I won't talk too much about grants because Trace or Yvonne will be talking about that in one of our other webinars. Okay, so just the potential, I suppose, the next steps. I suppose for those that haven't signed up for an SEC, I provided that link earlier to SEI's website. There's a link there that you can go on and sign up, and once you sign up into the network, so that's the learn stage, I'll be sent an email there from SCI to say that we have a new network member, and then I'll pass it down onto the county mentors, so it's either the one Fiona, Yvonne, Trace or Marina that are working in the 4 counties in the southeast, and they'll be in touch with you then as soon as possible, just to get an idea of where your community is at and what, you know, what stages or what you want to achieve out of that. So that's kind of the first step for groups if they haven't signed up. Then other steps, I suppose, if you have a community or an SEC already established and you're a little bit lost, again, get in contact with your county mentors. And Fiona, actually, our Wexford mentors, the next webinar, Fiona is going to be given just how to engage with your community and how to, get the best out of your community and what kind of people to work with in your community. So there's, we're going to give a seminar on that, or a webinar on that next, as I feel that people, people have signed up and they just need a little bit of steer and a little bit of help in doing that. And then other people, other groups that are interested in, say, doing their energy master plan. Again, just getting onto your county mentors, getting the application form in, get your community charter set up in your competency assessment. So just getting all that in place and then applying for your funding to do your energy master plans. And I know it's a difficult time at the moment, just under the current restrictions with COVID and all that. And, communities aren't out as much, meeting and all that, but there is other means, like, and we have, we've had good feedback from communities over the last while about, bringing them together through either whether it's a Zoom meeting like this or, meeting kind of socially distanced and outside or whatever. But, there is ways that we have engaged with communities over the last while. Yeah, so just bringing it back to your mentor, I suppose the main point is you're not alone, or you're not by yourself. Like, there is support there. So SCI are the national body over the whole programme, and they've obviously assigned county and regional mentors to work with G. So any of the people, that are working, like Marina works, a bit with Carlow Development, and Fiona and Yvonne are on the ground down in Wexford and Kenny working with community groups, and Trace works a bit with Kilkenny Leader Partnership. So we've got strong, links to the community, and we're working well with the groups down here. So, your community county mentor is the first port of call. Ask them questions. What information do you need to get? Can they help you in finding that some of that information, or help you in steering how to get more out of your community group as well? And then obviously there is events throughout the year. They'll tell you about those. And I don't know if there's a national event this year, actually, I'm not sure. But again, if there is, we'll let you know, whether it's either online. I doubt it'll probably be, an event. But yeah, the point is just to engage with your county mentors, and they'll steer you in the right direction. And then I just put this up as the last slide, I suppose, just the benefits. I'm not going to go through all of these, but there is wider benefits, and it is about making your community more resilient and working with the community and how to make your community more sustainable. And I suppose where a lot of this is coming from as well is Europe, like there's the communities over there, community energy and community renewable energy. Over there is quite strong and all that. So we're trying to, I suppose SCI and the government are trying to bring more resilience to community groups, and bring, the community projects or renewable projects back down to community level and get them engaged and get them working, whether it's a small kind of solar lighting project that they might have for a park, or whether they're looking at a larger project in terms of a solar farm or whatever. But it's just, trying to mobilise and bring that knowledge within community groups, across the country. So that's my presentation. If anyone has any questions, Fiona's probably gone through some of them, or we can feed them in now.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that, Jane, and thanks to everyone for attending this morning, taking the time out, and for the questions that you've been sending through. So what I'll do is I'll just go through them now one by one with Jane. And what I would just say is just a reminder to everyone, because I know some people were a little bit late coming in, that we are recording today's webinar and we're going to make it available for everyone afterwards. But if you find after today's session that you didn't, that there was more information that you wanted, or you had more questions, you can get in touch with whatever the mentor that's assigned to your county, and we'll help you out in whatever way we can. So
we might send out after, we'll just send out the, sorry, now I have to go wrong. Sorry, we might send out after that, yeah, just the contact details for each of the county mentors. So we put them up. I don't know, Mary was doing all the background work for us, so we'll just get her to send out some of the stuff for people after that, if that's okay with everyone. Yeah, great. Yeah. Will I stop sharing? I can't see the questions actually, Fiona. No, you see, what I'll do is I'll just put them to you each, one by one. I've just been taking note of them here, just so we can, because sometimes people have the same questions actually. So first question is there a deadline for just the signing up phase? No, so the program is run for over 3 years. So the previous program ran from 2016 to 2019, and that finished. So the new program is from 2019 or 20 to. So it's a 3-year program. So we're only in the first year of that program at the moment. So yeah, you have plenty of time if you want to sign up now at the moment, because the program is running over 3 years.
Yeah. Is there any obligation to do an energy master plan if you sign up to the network?
Say that again, is there
any obligation to do the energy master plan?
Yeah, that's the way SCI have divided. So the learn phase is just the phase where you're just joining up to the network and you're sharing knowledge and information, and you can, you know, link in with people, and their website's quite good, and they send out, I think it's monthly emails to all the network members, and it gives you good information about what's going on across the country. But no, there's no obligation to do your energy master plan.
Great. Is there a minimum size that a community has to be to qualify to be able to sign up to the network?
No, I suppose what they want to see, what SCI are, you know, saying that it's a cross-sectional, like that it's not just a community centre, or it's not just you know, one group that's kind of spearheading it. Well, it could be one group, but you know that it's cross-sectional. Like, you know, there's housing, there's community centre, there's schools. That, you know, it's looking at everybody within your community, and it's not just one section. Yeah.
Another question is there any information on maybe communities that are further along the process, that have completed projects, that have done their EMP and done some projects? Is there any information available then to other people to see?
Yeah, so we have done case studies on some of the projects. So yeah, we'd have, through the Energy Agency, we'd have case studies done on some of the projects that would have gone ahead, like, you know, that would have been signed up to the network and might have done projects. So I can pass them on to anyone that's interested in those.
Great.
Yeah.
Another question here. Will there be further calls for Energy Master Plan funding applications over the next few years? And again, just in case I've misunderstood any of the questions coming through, you can come back to us on it. But I'm assuming what they're asking there is, will there still be funding available over the next few years for the EMP applications?
Well, yeah, that goes back to the very first question. I suppose there's funding available at the moment, and the programme is open for 3 years. So there is funding, and I'm assuming, like, they have a target, the government in the Climate Action Plan set that target for 2030 of 1,500 SECs. You know, so I'm assuming the programme will be rolling until they achieve that target. But again, that's, you know, that's a government and a budget issue. But at the moment, you know, we have 2 years or more left in the programme, so there is funding available at the moment.
Yeah, great. Do the upgrades apply to private houses or just community centres and schools?
To the upgrades. So if you're doing an energy master plan and you want to do energy audits, you can do energy audits on private houses, and you can do energy audits on you know, community centres, if that's the question you're asking. And then if you want funding, you know, there's different avenues, I suppose, through SCI. Like, there is individual grants for upgrades for housing, or, you know, there's the better energy communities. So, you know, where SCI is steering the SECs is into the better energy communities for grant aid. So there would be grant aid for you know, for houses to do upgrades through that. But again, I think you have to go from, you know, you have to achieve a certain BER rating on that. So it's not just a single measure you can do. It's more, you know, it's a more, you know, you have to do a good few measures to that to get, you know, to achieve. I think it's a B1, I think, energy rating that they require. But I need to check that, but I can come back to you on that.
Okay, and I think it's open to commercial units as well, so it's not just the residential and community.
Yeah, no, the BEC is open to so community as well. Commercial can get funding of up to 30%, and community in the past has been 50%, and local authorities are generally, public sector are generally 30% as well. So,
okay, great. Someone's asking, is there an easy how-to guide? So they're just looking in terms of promoting the SEC program around their communities or in their county. And is there any kind of easy how-to guide that's in really, I suppose, easy language? I think sometimes it can be off-putting, the technical language. So is there anything that they can share with their communities to encourage them to sign up to the network?
Yeah, I suppose SCI's website would have some materials on it, and we have been working, like our county mentors, we've been working kind of just, you know, how can we engage with communities a bit more. So again, probably advice there is just to link in with your county mentor and, you know, see what information we can provide to you to make, you know, to make the message a little bit easier. And there has been, like, the idea behind the network, I suppose, is, you know, that it's information sharing as well, that, you know, you can link in with other community groups and see, you know, what was the simple message that they gave to their community group, and maybe could you use that material as well? Because, you know, we don't want to all be reinventing the wheel either as well. We want to share the knowledge and work together to, you know, to make life easy for everyone, I suppose, and, you know, make the process easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the last question that I have here. It's, are SECs used to apply for funds under existing schemes such as BEC and Deep Retrofit?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, like under the BEC, the Better Energy Communities, if people don't really know if we've used that, BEC is Better Energy Communities, the grant programme that's administrated through SEI. So there is a scoring mechanism under the Better Energy Communities, and if you are an SEC or Sustainable Energy Community, you do score higher on the scoring system with the Better Energy Communities, and it is a competitive process. So you submit your application and SEI do assess it, and if you are an SEC, you will get higher scoring on that Better Energy Communities application, if that's what you're asking. Just repeat the question, is it?
Yeah, sure, because there's a question at the end just about the deep retrofit. So it's just, are the SECs used to apply for funding under the existing schemes such as BEC and deep retrofit?
Yeah, so yeah, you get higher points if you are an SEC, but if you want to apply for funding, say under the deep retrofit or under the Better Energy Communities, you do need a pre-BER done in your house, and you will need a post-BER done in your house to apply for those funding streams.
And
so SEI want to see that, you know, if your house was an E or an F or a D or whatever it was pre the energy upgrades, and then they want to see the after BERs, or that you've, you know, that you've gone up, you know, from whatever it was, a D or an E up to a B1 or whatever it is. So you need to show that an uplift, and there is an uplift of, I don't know what it is, X kilowatt hours that you need to achieve through those programs as well.
And then just the last part of that question is just on the deep retrofit. So is that scheme still available?
No, the deep retrofit is closed at the moment. So that was run last year, and my understanding is it's not opening again as it was last year. So we're just waiting on confirmation from SCI just in terms of what, you know. I know there is some scheme at the moment. It might be just local authority housing, but I just need to confirm. But the point about the deep retrofit, no, that's not open at the moment. No.
Okay. Well, that was the last of the questions that's there. I hope we've answered everyone's questions, but as I said, if we haven't, after this webinar, we will send on the recording, but we'll also send on the contact details of all the mentors for the counties. So just get in touch with any questions that you have, and we can have a chat and see if we can help you out. So thanks again for taking the time to attend this morning. And look out as well for the dates for the next 3 webinars that are coming up, and we'll be talking about grant funding options and just different ideas about how to engage with your community. So thank you.